Hey everyone, it's Alex Martinez with Real Estate Skills, and I got a special guest today. It's Trevor Mauch, CEO of Carrot, and we're going to be diving into why 90% of real estate investors and wholesalers are burning out. Trevor's got the fix for that. We're going to flip business on its head. It's going to be pretty impactful. So, Trevor, thanks for hopping on.
Dude, Alex, I'm pumped to be on here, and I'm pumped to see you, man. I always love our time together, and it's been too long. Good to see you.
Yeah, we worked on a lot of things, a lot of business, a lot of real estate, and so
Yep.
I'm happy for you to lead the charge. I mean, I make a lot of content all the time, and so excited for to pull some of this out of your brain that we have here today.
Heck yeah. Yeah, dude, you're the content master, man. I know when we were diving in deep a year, 2 years ago, yeah, I was learning so much from you on what you're doing on the YouTube side of things. And so I'm pumped for all the viewers, all the listeners here, that you guys get to be a part of Alex's ecosystem, because he's one of the best guys. So stick with him. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Trevor. So first off, we both help real estate investors, wholesalers to have successful businesses, to get deals. But let's be honest, there's a lot of people that say they want to be real estate investors. A lot of people say they want to be wholesalers or fix and flippers. And, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months go by and you can't find them anymore. They're not doing the thing that they committed to originally. They're burning out, they're struggling. And let's start to diagnose why that's happening. I want to hear from you and your experience from working with thousands of real estate investors and helping them to do deals and build successful businesses, so that maybe the people listening today that are struggling, or maybe they're not there yet, they're in a honeymoon phase or have some rose-colored glasses, you can help illuminate the path for them so that maybe they can start going down the right path instead of the wrong path.
I'm going to dive into some stuff I've been working on for years and years. So I coach a bunch of high-level investors, right? People that are doing between $300K a year and about $13 million a year. The biggest guy that I coach does 500 plus deals a year. And here's the wild thing is, like, doesn't matter how big of an investor you are, or how small, we're all going through the same thing, and you're all going to go through the same life cycle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through, first of all, like how to think about business right from the start, because I think most of us start businesses with one intent, and then we get 2 to 3 years in, we go, oh, wow, I don't like this business as much as I thought that I was going to, or much as I did in the first 6 months when it was new and fresh. So we're going to attack that first. And then I'm going to dig into what happens when you start to feel like you're kind of stuck, or like things are, momentum's moving slow or moving backwards, or you're getting burnout. Your energy is being zapped most days, and you get to the end of most weeks. You're like, man, I worked a lot of hours. I hustled. I busted my butt, but I don't feel like I'm much closer to my goal than I was when I started the week. Or, man, I worked a lot, but I can't really tell what I actually moved forward. But I know I did a lot of things. And I have, and my energy's drained. I just can't wait for the weekend, right? So if you guys are in that bucket where you can't wait for the weekends, there's something fundamentally wrong with your business. Okay, you should be excited for Monday when we build a business that truly serves us versus us serving the business. So the first thing I'm going to walk you through is, I think fundamentally, when I'm talking with a person that is in that spot where they might be in burnout, we got to pull back and really ask the question, like, what did you hire this business to do for you? Right, that question popped up for me, Alex. This was probably 5-6 years ago, and then again about 2 to 3 years ago when I was going through just one of those seasons, right? A challenge where that business kind of owned me more than I owned it at that moment, and it just kind of happens sometimes. It happens slowly over time. Then all of a sudden you wake up and go, I don't really want to work today. I just don't feel like I'm excited about this. And that was the question that popped up. It's like, we hire employees, we hire contractors, we hire consultants to do a job, right? To go do this thing, to drive this outcome. And if they don't do that job, what happens? Well, we should change something. We should adjust or coach that team member. If they can't get it, then move someone else in there. We should get rid of that consultant, or adjust. Like, we got to make a change.
Yeah.
Right. The challenge is, dude, that our businesses, when they get to a spot where they're not doing the job that we hired it to do for our lives, we just let it go. We let it linger. And so that question popped up in my mind. I'm like, well, dude, what did I hire my business to do for me? Because you are hiring your business to do a job for you in your life. And like I said, what happens is we forget that, and we let the business hire us, and we now work for the business, and our schedule gets owned, and we stop enjoying the very work, the very job, the very business that we thought was going to give us freedom. right? So if this relates to anybody at all, I want you guys to nod your heads or whatever as you guys are listening to this. Yeah, it relates to all of us, right? Because I've gone through that myself many times. And so the first question that popped from my mind is, I'm like, well, great. Well, what is it that I hired my business to do for me? So for me, it's three things. And I think this is pretty applicable for everybody listening to this and watching this. I'm going to bring up my screen. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this, amazing. You're going to get some good eye candy. If you're listening to the audio version on podcast, awesome, listen to this, but then go over to Alex's YouTube channel and watch the video. Okay. So the first thing is I want to build a business that we never want to retire from, which means we should build a business with purpose to hire it to do what we want. And those three things, it's going to be a little bit hieroglyphics here, Alex, but I'll talk through what my writing, my chicken scratch says. But the first thing is like our jobs, our businesses should give us work that interests and energizes us. Okay. Meaning, you don't have to be passionate about that topic. Let's say you'd love mountain bike riding. You don't have to build a business around mountain bike riding. Okay. But your business should enable you to do more of your passion. It should enable you to do more mountain bike riding, or it should enable you to spend more time with your family. It should enable you to do these things you're passionate about. But within that business should provide you work that interests you. You should want to solve the problem that you're wanting to solve. Okay. And more of your work than not should energize you. You should get to the end of your days and go, man, I worked hard, but I'm energized. Like I got more energy when I'm done with that day than when I started. Or more energy when I'm done with that task than when I started. These things right here, Alex, hopping on podcasts with guys like you, it gives me energy. Can I directly attribute it to business and revenue? No, not usually, but I can directly attribute it to energy. And when I show up and put more things that give me energy in my schedule, I do better in work and I do better in life. Okay. So that's the first thing. Your work should give you things to work on that interest you and energize you. The second thing is your work should fund the vision. This is where I see a lot of people, Alex, get burnt out. I was literally talking with one about 2 hours ago in our weekly Bible study with some of my coaching clients. And this guy's got a really successful business and he keeps pushing, he keeps pushing, he keeps pushing. And he's just wondering why he has this, what I call anxious striving. Right? To me, anxious striving is you keep on setting these goals and going after these goals and driving on them. And no matter what goal you hit, it just doesn't seem like it fills that void. And you've got this general tone of anxious striving. That's the undercurrent of everything. You can't really place it maybe in the moment. It's not that you're depressed. It's just like you just have this general cloud kind of hanging over you where you go like, I would always feel like I can't get to peace. I can't get to full peace. Right. And oftentimes that's because we are building a business based off of ego, based off of what other people think, based off of what the world rewards us for, versus saying, no, I've got this vision in my life that I really want to live this life, this ideal average day. Here's what it's going to cost me. Put a number to it. And that includes philanthropy or other things you want to do. Put a darn number to it. Hire the business to go fulfill that number. Right now, if your vision gets bigger for some reason, you grow your identity, which we can talk about that later on another podcast. When your identity grows and your limiting beliefs get peeled back, your vision might get bigger. Great. Now your business might get bigger because of that, because now the business needs to be bigger to fund that vision. But you shouldn't build a big business too big to overfund your vision. Now, what does that mean? I see a lot of people, or their ideal average day, they would be absolutely pumped with this day, and that day is going to cost them literally $500,000 a year in net income. Like to live that life, they would crush it on $500,000 a year net income. But they're grinding away at a $3, $4, $5, $6 million business, netting 1, 2, 3, and they're overfunding that vision. They think the void is going to be filled by a bigger number. No, they just need to recognize this business is hired to do this job, and now I just need to give myself permission to go live. Right? Use the business to live. So the third thing then is it should give you an impact that you're proud of. So those three things: give you work that interests and energizes you. It should fund your vision. It should give you work that you're proud of. And for me, if we're not running our business with those three things in mind all the time, and we don't have a clear vision in what that's going to cost so we can fund it. If we don't have a clear vision, we're going after ego, we're going after growth, we're going after the worldly things that don't fill us. That's how we get to burnout, because we're like, I'm working hard. What am I working for? Right? I'm just working for a bigger number. Yeah. I'm working to walk in that mastermind room, and now they know I'm $1 million a year guy or a $10 million a year guy, because that's going to make me feel good. That's terrible. Like, I've been in that bucket. It's a terrible feeling because you can never escape it.
Yeah.
unless you choose to escape it, right? So what I end up seeing next then, once we kind of dive into that with a coaching client, or I dove into that myself and really recognize, what am I hiring this business to do for me? It's got a job, and I have to always ask, is it doing that job? What happens, Alex, is we're on this path, and I'm drawing this for all of the podcast listeners. Head over to YouTube, because I'm drawing something I call the 4 paths, and then we're going to go into into momentum at the end of this. Okay, so there's 4 paths, and we're all on one of these paths at any given time in our businesses and lives. And there's something I call above the line and something I call below the line. Okay, above the line is good. You feel good. You feel like there's good momentum and good progress. Below the line doesn't feel good. It feels like you have a lack of momentum, or that's that anxious striving, or it's like, man, I just feel stuck, and I just feel like I'm working hard, and the harder I work, it doesn't dig me out of this. And that's when we get to burnout. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen right now, Alex, and I'll verbalize it for all the podcast listeners. When we get to burnout is literally just moving back and forth between distraction and busy work, distraction and busy work, distraction and busy work, distraction and busy work. Okay. And I've got this thing called the momentum meter, which we'll finish with here in about 8 minutes. That's going to give people a real path and actual actions to get out of burnout. Okay, this is where it's at, dude. When I bring this in with people, they get out of burnout within 1 to 2 weeks. Their mind becomes clear. Momentum starts to pick up. And we're going to end there in this portion of this segment.
Great.
Okay, before we dive into AI. But going up here to the 4 paths. So we're moving forward in life, and there's 4 potential directions we could be going at any given time. The one at the top is transformation. Okay, so transformation is basically when we reach up into growing fundamentally in one area of our life. Okay, the buckets that I choose, Alex, are I call them the 6 Fs. It's faith, family, friends, fitness, finances, and fun. I'm not going to write them all out for sake of time. When I talk transformation, it means we fundamentally reach up into one of those 6 Fs, and that part of our life becomes different, right? And in order to get there, you've got to have a vision with what you want to change. So let's say it's the fitness side. You got in amazing shape a couple years ago when we were working out. It's like you had to have a vision of what you wanted to do with fitness before you could ever start to make that move. Mm-hmm. If you're wanting to grow your business, if your business is stagnant or stuck, oftentimes it's stuck because of what I'm going to walk through here in a second. And we lose our vision. We lose excitement for the vision. We stop even believing that vision can be true. Mm-hmm. Right. So transformation, we're going to reach up into once a year, twice a year, depending how fast you're growing. Like you're going to reach up into 1, 2, 3 of these things a year, maybe, to truly transform that part of your life. Right. And it feels great when you're on transformation. It's momentum. You feel awesome. You're growing. But where most of us want to be is in success, mm-hmm. whatever that definition of success is to you. Right. A lot of people root our definition of success in how society would say that we're successful. Do you have a big bank account? Are you hitting the Inc. 5000 awards? All this kind of stuff, whatever that is. Those, I would argue, are actually not success. I went after all those things, man. I got all those things. Got them all, right? Yeah. Got the big bank account, all the real estate, the millions of dollars a year, hit all the awards, get all of that. And after hitting all that, you're still like, but it didn't fill the void, right? So success must be something else. That's maybe a whole nother podcast. But what happens is we stay in success until we don't, right? We reached up into transformation, something changed. We transformed our business. We became someone new. We believed we could have a bigger vision. In order to transform, we have to design that transform. We have to create a vision. Right? Mm-hmm. We have to get clarity on what the heck it is that we want in that area of our lives. We do it. We have success now. We're in this period where it's working. But what happens is oftentimes when we're in success, we don't want to change it because it's working. We stack up all these ideas that we could have that could continue us forward. But we start to kind of act in fear a little bit sometimes because we're like, oh, shoot, this thing's working so well. I don't want to change things too much because we built the team and we're afraid to change the team. We are doubling down on this strategy. It's like it's working and I don't want to massively change it. So we end up getting into default mode. And this is what happens with a lot of people 2-3 years into their journey as real estate investors. They get into default mode. This thing worked. I'm kind of maintaining this business now. I'm just kind of doing the things that got me here. But the world's moving around us. And if we stay in default mode for too long, we get stagnant. That's where stagnation comes from. And that's where we start to feel some level of burnout coming on, right? When we get in default mode, it doesn't feel good. And you like slowly move into default mode. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. It just, you start to see some of your metrics get a little softer and you're like, well, let's just work a little harder this next month doing the same things that got us here and see if that changes it. We go, well, I'm going to make these little tweaks here and there and see if that changes it. Usually it doesn't. And so we start to get frustrated, right? Which is the next level. This is the first level below the line. Okay. We're in default mode for too long. We start to get frustrated. Things aren't working the way that they were. We're starting to stack up some losses now, right? The things up above in the green, we're stacking wins. It builds confidence, man. Mm-hmm. We feel like we're on top of the world because we're doing things that are working. Down here now, we start to stack up some L's and it loses confidence. And so when we start losing confidence because some things aren't working the way that they would, you can start to get hesitant. You start to stack ideas. A little bit of fear reaches in, a little bit of apprehension, a little bit of ego gets hit, a little bit of limiting beliefs pop up, and we stop doing one thing. We stop making decisions. So we get an indecision. Okay. What takes us above the line, Alex, is actually decision. Mm-hmm. The reason that you grew and started to transform in your business or whatever it is you said, I am going to make a decision to do this and not do these things. I'm going to move. When we get below the line, we stack up all these ideas and we stop making decisions. Okay. When we're frustrated long enough, dude, what happens? We drift. So this is where I'm starting to go into burnout here, guys. Okay. I didn't want to just go surface level. I'm going deep with y'all because this is where it is real and this is how you're going to solve it. I'm going to give you guys 3 steps and it's going to get solved if you follow these three steps. And now you're going to have the model and the path to solve it forever, which is crazy. So you get frustrated. You're in frustration for too long, man. What happens is you start to drift. You drift. Where do we drift? We drift into our vices. What vices? Anything that is a distraction from the day-to-day that you feel is numbing to you or that is not exciting to you or that's draining for you. We drift off into things that give us a temporary reprieve from the numbing of the day. But if we do that, when you know it's a vice, is if you do that thing over and over and over again, it's destructive. Okay, not everything that's a temporary reprieve from the day-to-day humdrum is a vice. Okay, if you do that thing over and over again, and it's healthy. That's not a vice. You should probably do more of that thing, right? But it's a vice if it is destructive. If you do it more and more and more. What are these things? Well, it's the doom scrolling, right? That was one of mine about 1.5 to 2 years ago. I had to eliminate it. I eliminated it with an app called Opal, OPAL. It literally changed that season of my life. It removed the phone as a vice. There's all kinds of other vices: porn, drugs, alcohol, addiction to staying in Slack and reading every single thing because it's a temporary reprieve from the humdrum. You're trying to get a fix. Vices are just trying to give you a fix because you're not getting the excitement and the joy in your everyday because you're in default, you're frustrated. What do we start to do, Alex, in this phase? And this is now where we go into eliminating burnout. What we do is we eliminate the very things in our life that give us the most joy because I just got to work harder. I don't have time for the workouts anymore. I don't have time for that weekly mountain bike ride or the 2-day-a-week basketball games with my buddies. I'll pick those up later. I don't have time for date nights or date mornings anymore. We'll get those back next month or next week, babe. Like I just got to put my head down and work. Okay. I was working with a client of mine, big client, 8-figure client. He was in massive burnout, below the line, couldn't figure out why. And when you stay in this, dude, you start to lose a lot of confidence. You lose your vision. You lose that design. And what I used to do, Alex, I would say, whoa, vision drives every decision. You're in burnout. What's your vision? Mm-hmm. You can't get to vision, dude. You're so clouded. You're like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I don't even believe that I could think big or even do the thing. So you start to press your dreams down. You start to press your vision down. Because every time you reach into that vice, it lowers confidence. Every time you reach into that vice, it erodes momentum. Okay. So the very first thing that we've got to do, and this is what I did with that big client, that 8-figure client, we found out his vice. He had two of them. He confessed to me. I'm like, dude, those vices, until those are gone, you're not going to get out of burnout and you're not going to get momentum back. I don't care how much I teach you in all these things, mindset exercises. It don't matter until those vices are gone. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because the vices rob us of mental clarity, but we justify them. Dude, I'm only spending an hour a day on Instagram. Like, I've got all these other hours I can get stuff done. No, an hour a day just doom scrolling or reaching into porn or whatever it is, drinking every day. It's only one drink every day. Those little things cloud the mind. It cloud the judgment. It makes it so we can't make decisions. It makes it so we can't get to clarity. We can never get back above the line until we eliminate it. So that's step one, is we eliminate the vice. Okay. Step two, and I've got a process called the vice elimination process. I'd be happy to share it with people. Just guys, follow me on Instagram, Trevor.Mauch, Trevor, TREVOR.MAUCH. Hit me on with the DM and say, hey, Trevor, can you share with me your vice elimination process? It's got a worksheet and everything. I'll share it with you guys. Eliminate those vices. So that's step one. Step two, once that vice is gone, dude, we start to, our brain cloud, the brain fog starts to go. It starts to lift a little bit within 2 weeks. And now what I do is I step into design. I go, great. Now let's really figure out where we want to grow again. Like, what does that look like? Let's dream again. Let's dream again. Let's just pick one part of your life or your business. Okay. And then we're going to create that basic vision. Once we do that, then we're going to make some decisions. Okay. Now we go, great. What are we going to decide to do that gives us joy and moves us towards it? What are we going to stop doing? We got to make decisions fast, make decisions. And for me, Alex, a decision should always be followed by a calendar change. Decisions and calendar changes, decisions and calendar changes. Okay. Decisions, calendar changes. That's the first step, guys. And it all is manifested in this thing that I call the momentum meter, which I'm showing on the screen here on the YouTube side of it. Is this momentum meter, Alex, is sitting there on an airplane and drawing. I'm like, let me map out what this actually looks like in life. So the momentum meter came to me on an airplane because I was going through a season like this, right? And the way that I think and the way I would encourage everybody listening to this to think is the challenges and trials you're going through are for you. They're not to you. And what I always want you to ask is, dude, it's kind of like I was reading scripture the other day in Proverbs, and it talks about gold and silver, right? And when you yank gold and silver out of the ground, it's not very useful. It's riddled with dirt and riddled with rocks, and like you can't go put that on a necklace or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of useless at the moment. You can't do much with it, and that's what happens to us when we're wrapped in all of that the vices, and we're wrapped in that. We're riddled with all this dirt, this heaviness, and we're not very useful until we get purified, until we get cleaned out. And so what do they do with gold or silver? They take it and put it in the furnace or the crucible or whatever that is. They put it in there, all the dirty stuff in it, and they heat it up, right? So the metaphor in life is you're taking this dirty, impure stuff that isn't very useful right now. It's not moving in a good direction, and you got to put fire to it. You got to put fire to it. And so they heat this up. What happens is that metal starts to melt. And then they scoop out all the crap, like, right? They just start scooping out all the stuff and tossing it out. And then eventually they have this clean, pure silver or gold. Now they can dump that out and it's useful. Dude, it's valuable now. I can dump it out. But how did it get there? It couldn't have got there without going through the fire. It couldn't have got there without being heated up. Mm-hmm. And so the same thing, if you guys are going through a trial right now and this is speaking to you, step into the trial because it is for you. It's heating you up. You're going through the furnace to remove those impurities. You're going through the furnace to remove those limiting beliefs, to remove those bad habits and those vices, to remove those, I call them dirty fuel. Remove the ego, remove the whatever it is that you're stepping into so others see you in a different light. Remove all that crap. This is for you. Okay, it's not to you. You're going through the fire, and that's a good thing. Let it refine you. But you've got to remove the impurities in the process. And this is how you do it. So momentum meter, we've got these two parts of life, I feel. There's the being or the rest side. Then you've got the doing or the work side. Okay, we are beings, we need to rest. And then we are doing, meaning we got to go work too. We're called to that, even in scripture, like we're called to that, right? And so if we just work, especially when a problem happens. So let's say things get really hard and you're in burnout mode. What do we do? Dude, I just need to push through this. I'm just going to put my head down, work. I'm going to cancel all these things I love to do. I'm just going to work. Okay. The answer is not to go do more work. That's actually the opposite answer to get you out of burnout. It's to not work through it. It's to not push through it. Okay. The answer is actually the opposite direction. Treat this like a pendulum, Alex, right? Like there's a pendulum here. And if I pull this pendulum up and to the left, what happens? It goes to the equal and opposite side of that diagram. Okay. So life is the same way. This is a pendulum. If we're in burnout is not from working too much. It's from not doing things outside of work that you love the most. So in that phase where you got busy and things got hard and you were in default mode and you got frustrated and you cut all the things in your schedule that gave you the most joy and energy and you said, I'll get back to these later. That's the actual problem. Your answer is not to work more. Your answer is to put more things in your calendar today that actually give you energy, joy, and life.
Wow.
Because what happens, Alex, if every time something gets hard, we cut the things we love the most, what feeling, subconscious feeling is that going to create inside of you? Every time something gets hard, it's going to be anxiety. It's going to be this heavy pit because the way you react to hard things is by cutting the things out that you love the most that give you energy and just working more. What if instead, when things get hard, you step into double down on the things that give you life, joy outside of work? Because then it's going to actually fuel you. It's going to give you a positive energy to go solve those work problems. It's going to excite you. Today, when I have a challenge to you, people like I'll talk with people and they go, dude, we're going through a big challenge right now. How are you even this positive? How do you have this energy? Because I still work out every day. Because I do a Bible study. I do 2 Bible studies in my office a week, one with customers, one with buddies. I don't cut those out. I do date mornings every Tuesday from 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock with my wife. Those don't get cut out. We go on quarterly retreats with my wife. Those don't get cut out. I pick up my kids from school on Fridays to take them to school every single day. Those don't get cut out, right? I have thinking time on my calendar to go out there and think. Those don't get cut out. You need those more when it's hard, not less. Okay, so in the momentum meter, if you're in burnout, like I said before, it's because your rest is only going up into distraction. So the different levels of rest are distraction, physical energy, like getting things moving, mental clarity, and then transformation, meaning you start to transform yourself personally after going through all those things. When distraction's gone, we're moving our bodies often, always have energy, and we're clear on things. You transform as a person. Confidence stacks. When you transform as a person, dude, what happens? Your business transforms because your business has no choice but to grow because you grew. Your business can never outgrow your identity. So to get out of burnout, you got to eliminate distraction. That goes back to what we talked before, the vice eliminator. Okay, list those vices. The number one vice, eliminate it ruthlessly. I'm talking zero chance for that vice to even be possible in your life. Okay, zero chance. And there's ways to do that with every vice. I think the challenge that we have, Alex, is we oftentimes don't step in. We take baby steps in eliminating that vice. Okay, we take baby steps. So let's say, porn or something is an issue that someone's reaching into. What is a way to 100% eliminate that?
Get some blocker on your computer, your phone that doesn't let you go to those sites.
Doesn't let you go to the sites, but there's ways around that, right? Like you're gonna hit in the weakest moments. You literally have software that shares every website you go to with your assistant, with your wife, with whatever it is. There's layers to this. Like you make it so there's no possible way you will even step into that. You want to be you want to go down that path because you know what's gonna happen. If drinking is your issue, you don't just go, well, I'm just gonna have willpower. Get rid of the alcohol. Throw it away. Have it be gone. It doesn't mean that you can't drink ever again, but if you keep on reaching in that cabinet because it's there, get rid of it. You only drink with a buddy once a month at the bar or something like that, right? Get rid of it. So really take that and make it public. Tell people, hey, I'm trying to get rid of this thing, or with someone that you really love and trust. So that's the first thing. We got to eliminate the vice. Okay. We are pulling it up to the left, Alex. Once we eliminate the vice, now we need to add physical energy back in our schedule every day. So these things I'm talking about are daily things. Okay. Every day, physical energy every day. When people say, how many days a week do you work out? I say, well, dude, how many days a week do you want energy? Do you want energy every day? Or just like 3 days a week? No, I want energy every darn day. So you should work out every day then, right? Working out isn't about getting abs. Working out is about energy. When I work out every day, dude, if we only stayed here and that pendulum went back and forth, Alex, if I got rid of the vice and I just got into physical energy every day, that'll put you over here in the producing mode. You can build a 7-figure income with just that. Mm-hmm. Right? Eliminating the vice, getting physical every day, and I'm ready. I'm jamming. I'm going to get clarity on my priorities, and I can create 7 figures income like that. You want to go up into higher 7 figures or 8 figures? We got to get a mental clarity daily. Putting that thinking time on your calendar. Do you get mental clarity from massages, going for mountain bike rides, for walks, whatever it's going to be? Okay, I do 2 to 3 walks a week, walk and talks, or just walking with no radio, no podcast, no nothing, just walking around. I have massages quite often. I go out on my porch in my house over the river and just sit there and read. I read the Bible every day and I'll read a book every day, 10 pages of a book. Those help me get mental clarity. When we have mental clarity, dude, it slingshots the other side. That's where you start creating your art. Like that's the stuff that's effortless and drives value, and it is amazing. You do that long enough, and here's where we're going to end. We're going to dive into AI marketing. You do that long enough, dude. This is where we start to get momentum. Things are cranking. And what happens? Bam, we shoot up into transformation on the personal side because we get clear in our vision on that design. And all of a sudden, you're just like a different person now. Dude, this guy's fit. He's excited. What happens then? Your business has no choice but to transform. The vision got bigger. You have more confidence. You step into it. This is how we live life. So I want people to sit on that. If you're listening to the audio version of it, go to the podcast version or the video version. But that's the long way of describing how to get out of burnout. Because I wanted to talk about the psychology behind it first, how we get into it, the very specific steps to get out of it, and then a model that people can build on the daily basis to think about, well, am I creating momentum? If I'm not, then I'm probably down here in burnout. Distraction, busy work, distraction, busy work, distraction, busy work. If you're in distraction and busy work, and distraction could be Netflix, it could be pulling up Instagram, it could be pulling up Slack all the time. If every time you have a Slack moment between a project and you go to Slack or you go to your email, and then you get back into busy work and you're working a lot but not getting anything done, it's because you need to get rid of the vice and go up into the left side of that. That makes sense?
Totally.
Cool. Well, I took that longer than intended, but hopefully that was valuable for you and for the listeners.
Absolutely. I mean, this is pure gold. I love that analogy of the gold as well. It's like going through the trials and tribulations. You might get a little dirty, but you are valuable. You are gold. We just need to clean off those vices. It does take a lot to build a business. It takes a lot to be a successful real estate investor. Not everything's going to be, sunshine as you're going through this. And I think part of it is accepting that, but, and also knowing, like, there's a couple of quotes that stick out. I forget who said it, but like one of the biggest or one of the scariest things is not never hitting your goals. It's actually hitting your goals and then not setting new goals, right? And getting complacent in so many ways. And I think when we're starting out in real estate, we're the most excited we've ever been. And we may have the lowest amount of responsibilities that we'll ever have. And so we do hit those initial goals. Maybe it's one deal a month, one fix and flip a month, 2 a month, 1 a quarter. But then we hit the vision and we never work on the vision again. And just like you said, the business hires you instead of you hiring the business.
Yeah. The final parting advice on this topic I'll give to people, and we'll dive into the AI side for 10 minutes or so is when you're starting a business, you're usually really excited because it's new and you're moving away from something that you don't like, right? You don't like the job or the income ceiling or people telling you can't accomplish something. So that excites you. But once you get a couple years in and you're starting to have things work, we oftentimes forget that we need to replace that with a new vision. We need to refresh that vision to have something we're excited to move towards now. And I think when people don't do that, that's especially when they start to resent that business, get burnt out on it because it's working, it's cranking some money. Like they're away from that thing they're trying to get away from. But now we have to replace it with something that we're excited to move towards. And so that's where this process I walk through, guys, is so important. And don't treat real estate or a business as reaching towards an end result, i.e., once I hit this, I'll finally make it. You're never going to make it, right? You are going to get to a spot where you hopefully have a business that funds your vision. That's an amazing thing. You're going to get to a spot where hopefully you refine your work and use, I have my energy audit. People can get it at carrot.com/energy. It's a free resource, carrot.com/energy. You do that energy audit once a quarter. It removes the things that drain your energy and adds the things that give. So it's like, if we make the aim just to make a business that we enjoy to run, not this end result of hitting this number, you start to make your calendar a calendar that you enjoy. And I just see people filling their calendars with just work and work and work. And someday I'll be able to enjoy this. No, guys, enjoy it now. Like, so that's the first thing I do when I work with people that are in burnout. I literally get rid of the vice. And I say, before we fix anything on business, what is one thing you used to do that gave you lots of energy and joy that you don't do anymore? Oh, I used to do X. Add it to your calendar. When are you going to do that? Let's get it back in. And then you start to not resent the business because it's allowing you to do the things that you love.
Be on the lookout for the next video in this series. And if you want to build a hyper-profitable wholesaling and flipping business, then check out my full in-depth training at realestateskills.com/watch. See you there, and happy wholesaling.